The Hitchhiker's Game. I was on a road trip to my friend's place when I picked up a hitchhiker. He looked like he was in his early 20s, with scruffy hair and dirty clothes. He said he needed a ride to the next town, and I was happy to oblige. We chatted for a while, and he told me about his job and how he loved traveling. Then he suggested we play a game to pass the time. He said he had a deck of cards and we could play a game of chance. I was hesitant, but he was insistent. I finally gave in, and we started playing. It was a simple game where we had to guess the card he was holding. If we guessed it right, we got a point, and if we guessed it wrong, we lost a point. The game started off innocently enough, but soon I noticed something strange. Every time I guessed the wrong card, I felt a sharp pain in my head. It was like someone was drilling into my skull. I wanted to stop playing, but the hitchhiker was too engrossed. He kept urging me to play and even offered me a large sum of money if I won. I was tempted, but I knew something wasn't right. Finally, I managed to win a few rounds, and the hitchhiker seemed angry. He demanded that I drop him off at the next exit. When I asked him why, he just glared at me and got out of the car. I was relieved when he left, but the pain in my head lingered. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had narrowly escaped a dangerous situation. The disappearing hitchhiker. I was driving through a deserted stretch of highway when I saw a young woman hitchhiking by the side of the road. She looked lost and scared, so I decided to offer her a ride. She got into the car, and we started talking. She said she was trying to get to her friend's place, but she had lost her phone and couldn't remember the directions. I offered to help her, and she seemed grateful. As we drove along, I noticed something odd about her. She kept looking out of the window, as if she was searching for something. Then, she suddenly disappeared. I slammed on the brakes and looked around, but she was nowhere to be seen. It was like she had vanished into thin air. I got out of the car and searched the area, but there was no sign of her. I started to panic, wondering if I had picked up a ghost or a supernatural being. After a while, I gave up and got back into the car. I drove on, feeling uneasy and scared. It was a while before I could shake off the feeling that something was watching me. The Hitchhiker's Revenge. I was on a road trip with my friends when we picked up a hitchhiker. He seemed friendly enough, and we struck up a conversation. He told us about his life and how he had traveled across the country, hitchhiking all the way. We were enjoying his company when we suddenly heard a loud bang. The car jerked to a stop, and we realized that we had a flat tire. We got out of the car to check the damage, but the hitchhiker was nowhere to be seen. We searched the area, but there was no sign of him. We thought it was strange but shrugged it off and started changing the tire. That's when we heard a chilling laugh. It was coming from the woods next to the road, and it was getting closer. We all froze, our eyes wide with terror. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the woods. It was the hitchhiker, his face twisted into a maniacal grin. In his hand, he held a large knife, and he was slowly making his way towards us. We scrambled back into the car, slamming the doors shut and locking them. The hitchhiker was now banging on the windows, laughing as he did so. I fumbled for the keys and finally managed to start the engine. I floored it, the car screeching as we sped away from the hitchhiker and the woods. After a few miles, we pulled over to the side of the road, panting and trying to catch our breath. We were all shaken to our core, realizing just how close we had come to danger. We made it to our destination without any further incident, but the memory of that hitchhiker haunted us for weeks to come. It was a reminder that not everyone on the road was friendly, and that we should always be cautious when encountering strangers.